Right, well, what a miserable, miserable evening of football that was. No fight, no desire, nothing. Nothing there. One, 5-10 minute spell maybe, where there was a bit of fight. Porro came on, looked like there might be something there, but just then went back to the same old pedestrian, predictable, boring stuff that we've seen for the whole game. Just nothing there. It's so depressing. Thinking it was only a few years ago, every single member of this squad used to cherish playing in a Champions League team, playing in Champions League fixtures, fight for every ball, make the club proud on a European stage. And the past few years, seeing the sort of shit we've turned out in the Europa Conference League, and now just this. Just appalling. It's pathetic. AC Milan weren't good. They were an organised enough team. They know how to suck the life out of a game like that, but that lack of fight, that lack of intensity, knocking the ball around about at the back, just completely played into their hands. I don't know what Conte was trying to do there, and it's just numb to this now. Numb to this football we've seen this year. They were talking about it on the View from the Lane podcast. Can you remember any real games other than what? Chelsea, West Ham, Man City, where we've actually played well this year? Southampton maybe. It's all been that meek, boring, awful, just awful. It's pathetic. Not even that annoyed about. Well, I am fucking livid. Not even annoyed with, like, AC was sucking the life out of the game, but I'm here with Connor, Charlotte, and Phil as well. Hello, everyone.
Hi Jack. How are you?
Not very happy, lads. But I tell you what, let's not get pinged for being Arsenal Fan TV type people in the ground. Well, I have this big furry microphone.
Put your muff away.
Put my muff away here. Come. How are you feeling about that, mate?
The only thing I'm annoyed about is that Conte didn't go in January when we were still in two competitions that we could feasibly have progressed in. We waited till we got knocked out of both of them. He'll go now before the end of the season, but we waited till we got knocked out of the FA Cup and the Champions League to let him go. Why? We didn't even have a go tonight. We didn't have a go. Before the game, I was annoyed. Well, I was not annoyed.
Hang on. No. Well, that says it all, doesn't it, really?
Before the game, I was a bit annoyed that their first choice keeper was back, Mignon.
Sorry, just because I didn't have the mic there, you said you were annoyed because their first choice keeper was back.
And he wasn't in the first leg. But did he make a save?
One from Harry Kane right at the end.
I mean, yeah. Fucking hell, man. Jesus Christ. I mean, fucking no. That was one of the most toothless Tottenham performances I've ever seen in my life.
This is what I was...
We didn't play like we were 1-0 down, did we? We were 1-0 down at the start of the game. Yeah. The worst thing is, with 5 minutes left, he brought Kulusevski off for Sanchez at 1-0 down.
Sack him for that.
Mate, fucking hell, I don't know.
I mean, the thing I was saying just a second ago was basically, it was a few years ago, you know, we were turning over Real Madrid, Dortmund. We had the Ajax game, fighting to the end.
This lot of shit. They're below Jose's Roma in Serie A. They're what, 6th in Serie A? They're shit. We didn't even trouble them.
They know how to suck the life out of a game, and that's what they did. But you know,
we didn't even trouble them. We didn't even trouble them. It's honestly, Son was dreadful again.
Yeah.
It's just.
Sure. You Conte's out, right?
Yeah, Conte's got to go. Just abysmal tactics. You know, aren't you glad we rested some crucial players for that Sheffield United game? I mean, so energised tonight. It really paid off. That fucking... It's just ridiculous. We could have actually had a good hit at the FA Cup and see Harry Kane lift a trophy. We're not good enough to be in the Champions League right now. We're just not. But we had a good route to Wembley and we fucked it for that absolute dog shit performance.
Still sticking with players like Perisic, who Perisic is just a waste of a shirt at the moment, right? Like,
I'm surprised he lasted till half time, but the annoying thing is, Ben Davies has been really, really good at wing back, but that says more about Perisic than it does Ben Davies. West Ham and Chelsea, Ben Davies was really, really good. I mean, our goal against West Ham was Ben Davies passing to Emerson. Fullback to fullback, that's meant to be the ideal Conte goal. And I mean, he's having to play left to the back three now, but I mean, fuck it out.
I don't see where he goes from here. Like
I said to Phil, the Bergwijn Lucas sub that killed Nuno, bringing on Davinson Sanchez with Kulusevski with 5 minutes left at 1-0 down in the Champions League knockout. What is he doing? What is he doing? Danjuma's still on the bench. Why did we buy that cunt, by the way?
Who knows? I mean, that's it. That's what I've been banging on about. Like, we signed Danjuma. We're trying to get Lucas out the door in fucking January. We signed Danjuma to replace him, and he's nowhere to be seen. He's a half-season loan, probably.
He is, yeah. He's literally a half-season loan.
But this sort of game,
we've got an option to buy. That's obviously not going to happen, is it?
What is it, 40, 50 mil, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not happening, is it?
No, of course it's not. But he scored on his fucking debut straight away.
But in this sort of game where AC are sucking, you saw the second Porro came on, there was a bit more
He was in the Champions League team of the season last season, Danjuma. And in the 87th minute, or it might have been 85th, he brought Davinson Sanchez on for Kulusevski at 1-0 down. What's he trying to preserve the scoreline? Is that impressive? I thought today was he was meant to be selling himself to Serie A teams, Conte, because he's obviously going to be in Italy in the summer. I thought today he was meant to be selling himself to Serie A teams, putting himself in the shop window. Who the fuck wants him?
I mean, the most damning thing is just like, after 80 minutes, right, we still just need a goal to take it to extra time. It didn't look like the players even wanted to have extra time. They looked like it was done. Yeah. Other than Harry Kane, none of them gave a shit.
I don't even think Harry
Kane. And Porro, to be fair.
Did he really look that good?
I thought he was trying to do what he could, but...
I don't know. I think they're all fucking absolutely dreadful. I thought Højbjerg was absolutely wank.
A terrible tonight.
In a cold light of day, it might be different. Somebody, someone from some tactics podcast might, watch it again and say, actually, Højbjerg was brilliant. Watching there tonight, being at the game, I thought he was dreadful, to be honest.
Romero. I mean, I love him, but also, lad, why don't you just concentrate on the football and not on trying to look hard? Do you know what I mean? Like, flying in like that when you're on a yellow card. What are you playing at, fella?
Up until the last month, when was the City game, about a month ago, he'd always been on the right side of that, on the right side of the line. And he'd always got booked early, and he'd seen it through. But tonight, it was just fucking hell, we needed him, man. We needed him, and he just fucked it. He absolutely fucked it.
Did it piss you off, Phil, Romero?
No, I thought it was wonderful, actually. I thought it was the right thing to do at the right time, just when we were...
just kept the momentum.
Screw, yeah. No, good, I love it. No, you're right. He's got to keep his head in it. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I know he's probably, he's going to be banned for the next game anyway, right? But still, come on.
Mate, so I had texts from non-Tottenham fans at half-time, right, saying, oh, fucking hell. It was with the booking, not even the sending off. With the booking, he'd have been banned for the next game anyway. So I had texts at half-time from non-Tottenham fans saying, fucking hell, how do you feel about Romero not even being able to play in the quarter-finals? Fucking hell.
And that,
we got sent off anyway.
There's now, I think the main take from this, for me, is that there's just no idea here anymore. I didn't look at that and thought we were playing to any sort of, even we talk about Conte's system, how rigid he is with it. I didn't even know what the fuck we were doing tonight. I could not tell you.
The only thing, I said it during the game to Phil, who sat behind me in the second half. We are all saying in January Conte has to go, but we've waited until we've been knocked out of the FA Cup and the Champions League, and I think he'll go now. But we've waited till we've been knocked out of the only two competitions we've got a shout in for him to go. Everyone knew he should have gone in January. He should have even come out from Italy for his fucking gallbladder surgery. He shouldn't have come back.
But do you bring him back now? Like, do you bring back Pochettino now? Do you sack Conte at this point in the season? Like,
I would say the only thing I would say is if Pochettino's up for coming back now, then yes. If Pochettino wants to wait until the summer, then no, because I really don't see any. I don't see there's any point in bringing in Mason now, for example, because it will be Mason until the end of the season if we get rid of him now. If Pochettino is up for coming in now, then yes. If he's not, then we may as well wait.
I think bring him in now. Do you know why? Because if we mess about, then he won't be there at the start of the transfer window. and he needs to be involved in the decisions. If he has a few weeks or months with our current squad, he has an idea of what he wants to do with that money. I don't want Poch coming at the end of August and having had somebody else make decisions for him and he's got to work with it.
Well, I mean, but this is all going to be part of the problem. Paratici's still here. Are him and Pochettino going to work? You know,
bars in about
yeah.
Give it a week.
Yeah, he may well be. I mean, if we're looking at kind of like a Pochettino-led Tottenham, there's a lot. I mean,
the annoying thing is, right, every fucking game counts because we've got Harry Kane. Every game counts. We could have got, if Pochettino's up for joining us now, which we obviously don't know, they'd have been up for joining us in January when Conte should have gone. And we were still in the FA Cup and the Champions League. But we've waited until we've got knocked out of both of those in fucking dreadful fashion to make a change, if we even do that. And if Pochettino's available now, he's available now, and we've just waited. And if we bring him in the summer, I don't know.
Look, if we're trying to see the sunshine through the clouds, if we are imagining a kind of Pochettino-led Tottenham, there's a few players there. Porro, who we've just signed, got Destiny Udogie coming in summer. Richarlison, I think he will love to get his hands on him. Romero can hopefully.
We played Richarlison in the front three instead of Son against West Ham and Chelsea, didn't we? Started him at least, and that's the best we've played in maybe this season at least against Chelsea. Obviously, we played really well against City, but against West Ham and Chelsea, we played that front three: Kulusevski, Kane, Richarlison, and it looked really good. And on the face of it, people are saying, Richarlison didn't get an assist, didn't get a goal. He made both of the goals against Chelsea, thanks to his pressing, thanks to his energy. And I just think Son looks completely lost again tonight. It was exactly
he looks
the same.
just shattered, doesn't he? He looks
completely lost. He's been asking to do a lot more than he was last season. You know, he's been asking to face up, take the ball on, try and pass it on, as opposed to getting on the end of passes. You know, I can't remember the last time, apart from West Ham, that he was played through with a pass. It's just been asked to do a different role, and it's just not working.
I think Kulusevski looks fucked as well, though, mate.
He's been pretty dreadful since the World Cup, Kulusevski. But at the start of the season, he looked really good. So I think Southampton was the opening game of the season. He scored.
Conte dropped him.
Yeah. He dropped him when he was fit, which was just bizarre. Dropped him for Richarlison and played Richarlison in his worst possible position across the front three, which is on the right, which is not where he plays. But he played him there, and I don't know. You know, I say that, but Richarlison had a go in the middle against Sheffield United, which is meant to be his best position. He was dreadful. He was dreadful. But Richarlison's always looked better on the left for us, and he's just not getting. Left side. He's just not getting the chances.
Look, I'll be honest, mate. I don't really know what to process on that. Like, this is, just for full context, we're walking down the high road now. I don't need to do a player by player. I don't think. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Fraser Forster, I thought he really fine, but he wound me up tonight. No urgency again in what he was doing. I don't know if he was instructed to do that, but
I shouted some things at him, to be fair. Yeah, just when he ended up with the ball, he didn't opt to throw it quickly. He just collected it, waited for Milan to get back into shape, and I agree. Actually, I agree. In terms of saving, he don't have a save to make because Milan didn't come here to play football. They didn't need to. They didn't need to, so he didn't have a save to make.
But I almost, this is the thing I was sort of saying. I was saying at the top, I wasn't annoyed by that. But what I meant by it is I wasn't really annoyed with Milan. They just played it well. It's boring, don't get me wrong. It's boring, it's shit, it's anti-football, but they know how to suck the life out of the game, and they did that.
What a day at work for Milan that was, honestly. What a day at work for Milan that was. They didn't have to exert any energy, did they? They jogged around for 90 minutes, and we didn't even threaten them. We didn't put their fucking nose out of joint. I mean, I can't even imagine they expected to have it as easy as they did tonight, but I mean, it was just... we offered nothing. We offered absolutely nothing.
Ben Davis. I mean, I'm annoyed now when he doesn't start left wing back. That's kind of how I feel about it.
There's the West Ham and Chelsea games. Probably the best thing about that was him at left wing back, Emerson at right wing back. Emerson was bad today as well, by the way. He sort of reverted to type. which is sort of understandable. But
He just didn't offer anything, did he?
no, he didn't offer anything at all. And another annoying thing is we brought Porro on, obviously, and we put Emerson at left wing back as if that had a chance of being good. In what world was that going to be anything apart from awful? And obviously he corrected it, took him off eventually. But why would you give that a chance?
I couldn't. So the next player on here, Clement Longley, I couldn't say anything about him really. Could you?
Nothing to say about him. He wasn't put under much pressure, was he? They didn't, as I said, they didn't come here to play football. They didn't come here to score a goal. So our defence was put under no pressure. There are people around the stands around me moaning about our defence. This wasn't on our defence. They didn't really have any defending to do.
Christian Moreira, we've spoken about him a bit, but that's not good enough from him tonight, is it? Right?
As I said, apart from the last few weeks, he's always been on the right line of that. You know, letting people know that he's there, getting an early yellow card and then seeing it through. But the last few weeks, he's just not done the latter. He's just not seen it through. It's such a stupid yellow card. It turns out he would have been banned for the next round anyway. But how long did we play without him? 20 minutes? That's not going to help us, is it?
For me, look, I've been banging on about him the past few weeks, how awful I think he is. Look, my thoughts on Ivan Perisic are, he's had a great career, right? It was a bold, in my opinion, it was a bold kind of mould-breaking move for Levy, for the club. It was a statement of intent. It was a statement of, for everyone saying, backing Conte. Yeah. Signing a, 34, 35-year-old player to play in a pretty physically intensive part of the pitch. He looks still up to spec, but I think, annoyingly, as is often the case for a lot of Tottenham, the gamble has failed. It was a gamble. Absolutely. And it should have worked out. But tonight, and for the past few games when he's played, he just looks like a waste of a shirt.
It's since the World Cup. Before the World Cup, I thought he was quite underwhelming before the World Cup, to be honest. He bagged loads of assists, and a lot of them through set pieces. Fair enough. But since the World Cup, I mean, he's just looked 10 years older. Even his set pieces, does he even take set pieces anymore? It doesn't seem like it. First half, it seemed like Son was taking them off him. The thing early on, with his redeeming feature, was set pieces. And he got a hatful of assists, fair play. But I just mean in general play, I don't know.
I mean, even those early performances, we were sort of looking for positives a bit at the time. Absolutely, I felt,
yeah. That's what I mean. It was the stats that was helping him, wasn't it, before the World Cup? And I'm not surprised, He's a fucking 34-year-old wing back. It requires him to do a lot of running. He's had a World Cup in which Croatia annoyingly did quite well, so he played a few games, and he's come back and he's been a shell of even what he was before the World Cup.
Not a good day in the office. No. For him.
It hasn't been for a few months.
Emerson Royale, as we were saying as well, just not the sort of standard he's set for himself the past few weeks.
Which is, I think we all would have agreed with him starting after his last couple of starts. I think we'd have agreed with that, but I don't know. It just seemed to revert back to 6 weeks ago tonight, as opposed to the West Ham and Chelsea games where he looked like a threat in the West Ham and Chelsea games. And he scored a goal against West Ham and it's a great goal. But I don't know. Is Davis not playing at wing back possibly hindering him?
I have no idea, mate. Honestly, Højbjerg. Another bad day in the office, I thought. It's just he had that one opportunity where he sort of ran through. I think he took too many touches. He still got a shot off, made the keeper sort of have to half make a save. He tried to get the south stand going, but I just felt with him tonight it was a lot of just slack passing, chasing the ball. And again, I don't know if this is product of him being overplayed, if it's the fact we still stick with that two in the middle so they get overwhelmed and they just can't get a real handle on the game, but it was just not good tonight.
I thought he was really poor tonight. I think if you compare our midfield performance tonight to the away leg, I know we lost 1-0 the away leg, but I thought our midfield were pretty imperious there. Sarr and Skip, that was the main redeeming feature from the first leg. Sarr and Skip, boss of midfield really. I really don't think you could say the same about Højbjerg tonight. Yeah, he might be tired. He probably is tired. He's played a World Cup. He's played every game that he's been available for us, but I thought he was really poor tonight. And I don't know.
What-
I think if Pochettino comes in, or if another manager comes in the summer, I don't think they'll be interested in Højbjerg. I think in a few years we'll look back at Højbjerg as a relic of the Jose and Conte eras. He's had big games, of course he has. He's had really good games for us.
And he tries. That's the thing,
He
you
does
know.
try, but I'd fucking try. And I'm you know, I'd try, but I don't know, mate. I don't know. I thought he was really poor tonight. I thought Højbjerg was really poor tonight.
Skippy is tough. He wasn't at his best. He made a few really good tackles, I thought, in there.
A few really good tackles, few good interceptions, played a few good passes.
I did think his position was a bit wank though throughout the game. I thought he sort of floated a bit and didn't really know what he was doing.
I think our midfield compared to the away leg was much more sort of, I don't know, much more all over the shop, much less sort of uniform, much less restricted. I think, as I said earlier, I think our only redeeming feature in the first leg was that Sarr and Skip midfield. I think they did the jobs to a T. I think it was the opposite today, to be honest.
Son, we've sort of spoken about him. He's not the old Son anymore, and I don't know if it's because he's been with the extra inch. They were saying that it's I think a lot of it is that he's been asked to do quite a lot of his back to goal. He's not that type of player. You knock the ball in front of him, and he can kind of work wonders, which we have seen. And as you were saying yourself, that's what we saw happen against West Ham.
That's what he was doing last season, back in the last season when we were absolutely smashing teams. I think the downturn in this team from February to May last season to now is just remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. It's baffling. I think Son's been asked to do a lot of fronting up, to take the ball on, as like a traditional number 9 would be, which he's never been that. I'd be more angry at him if he'd had a few balls played through for him tonight and he'd missed chances, but he didn't. He didn't even get a chance. That's his game. He didn't even get a chance.
Kalu for me is just, he's not fit, mate. He's just, I don't think we need to worry about. I'm not worried about him turning back into Juventus. Kulusevski, or Kulicheski, as Martin Keown likes to call him. But not good tonight, really. Not been good this season. But like I say, I don't think he's fit. I think he's lacking a bit of confidence.
Well, it's an injury, wasn't it? So he started the season really well. Scored against Southampton. Then he was dropped when he was fit for Richarlison, who came in and played a few games on the right, which didn't work. Then he got injured. And since he's been injured, he's just not been up to it. He's just not been up to it at all. He's just not. He looks a lot less confident. He's taking fewer shots on than he did back in the last season. Him cutting inside and having a shot. He doesn't do that, does he? He doesn't do that anymore.
Last sort of with the starters, Harry Kane. I mean, I thought he sort of tried his best. Sort of did the most of what he could with the few chances he kept dropping back because nobody else was making anything.
Was that the Kane chance at the end? Was that Kane?
Yeah, header.
So he had a similar chance against Sheffield United. A header that he fucked. Right, and I'm not. Tonight it's not on Harry Kane at all. Obviously it's not. But he should have done better with tonight, and he should have done better with a header against Sheffield United. Whisper it, but he should have. And if he did, we might still be in one of these tournaments. Obviously, this is not on him, but a player of his quality should have probably buried one of those chances, and he didn't. And he didn't really do a lot else. I know we're asking a lot of him in this system that he's been asked to play in, with a manager that's telling him what to do. But he had one chance tonight. He had one chance against Sheffield United, and I think he should have done better.
The funny thing is, right, so we start on the subs. I thought Pedro Porro, it was like his best performance we've seen in a Tottenham shirt.
I thought he was sound. I thought he was absolutely sound.
It's one of the few sort of lights to miss. He actually added a bit of impetus to our play.
Yeah,
he got bums off seats, that sort of Aaron Lennon effect a little bit, and he played a few decent balls in. He was always searching, he was probing, and he was causing them problems.
He's full of energy. He did, which was in stark contrast to Perisic on the other wing in the first half. I thought Porro was great. I don't know. People probably won't agree because he didn't get an assist. He didn't set up a goal, but I thought Porro was good. I thought he was right against Wolves as well, to be honest. I thought he was right against Wolves. I know, people, we lost that game, so people might not agree, but I thought Porro was probably one of our best players against Wolves. I think he needs to probably start a game, especially tonight. We didn't play like we started the game 1-0 down. We were 1-0 down at kickoff. We didn't play like that. I think Porro should have started tonight. I'm not saying it would have changed things, but we looked a lot more threatening with him on.
I hate to say it, but I think Richarlison, his relationship, I would say probably with Conte, with the club, with the coaching staff at the moment, is quite appalling probably, because he offered absolutely nothing when he came on.
I thought it was awful.
Yeah.
I thought it was awful.
He didn't run, he looked just unhappy, he just...
I don't necessarily think it's his fault. I know we could be asking more from him.
We fucked about with him for all season long, you know?
He was the main man at Everton, playing the same position every game. Single-handedly pretty much kept them in the Premier League. For us, he's been asked to play every position across the front three. He's been sat out the side for weeks on end, and we just expected him to come in and save us. He did that once against Marseille when we were shit. We were shit against Marseille. I was at that game in the group stage. We were shit, and he got 2 headers and kept us in. He's probably the only reason that we're still in it. Well, we're not anymore, but that we were before tonight.
And Dav Sanchez, just nothing really to say other than the fact that substitution.
One of them, as I said at the time, it felt like Conte's Lucas Moura-Bergwijn substitution that Nuno did, and that completely turned the fans and led to his sacking. Was it 5 minutes left? He brought a centre half on for Kulusevski. 5 minutes left, 1-0 down in the Champions League lockouts. He brought a centre half on. It's not Dav's fault. It's not Sanchez's fault. It's Conte's fault. No.